Growth requires discomfort. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to reach new levels. But nobody wants to go through what growth demands. You can't evolve if you're not willing to be stretched. You can't become great by staying where it's easy. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens in the moments that challenge you, break you, and rebuild you into something stronger. That's the price of transformation. It's not comfort, it's pain, struggle, and sacrifice. But that pain, that struggle is the very thing that makes you who you are destined to be. When you're comfortable, you stop moving. When you're comfortable, you stop chasing. Comfort tells you it's okay to rest when you haven't earned it yet. It tells you that you've done enough, that you can relax. But that's a lie. Comfort is the voice that convinces you to settle for less than your best. You can't reach the top if you're satisfied halfway up the mountain. Growth begins the moment comfort ends. It begins when you step into the unknown, when you're scared and uncertain, but still willing to take the next step. That's where real strength is built. Not in success, but in the struggle to get there. Every person who has ever achieved greatness had to go through discomfort. Look at the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the dreamers who made it. They all have one thing in common. They were willing to be uncomfortable. They woke up early when they didn't feel like it. They worked when everyone else was resting. They faced rejection, failure, and pain, but they didn't quit. Because they understood that the discomfort they felt was not punishment, it was preparation. Every hard moment was shaping them into the person they needed to become to handle success. Growth doesn't come easy, and that's what makes it valuable. If it were easy, everybody would do it, and it wouldn't mean anything. The truth is, your comfort zone is your enemy. It's a trap that disguises itself as peace. It makes you think you're safe, but in reality, you're stuck. When you're too comfortable, you stop learning, you stop adapting. You stop pushing your boundaries. You might think you're winning because nothing hurts, but you're actually losing because nothing's changing. Growth only happens when you demand more of yourself than you did yesterday. It's when you put yourself in situations that force you to think differently, move differently, and act differently. It's when you challenge your limits, not protect them. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it has to be buried in the dirt, covered in darkness, broken open. That process is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Without it, the seed will never grow. The same goes for you. The moments that break you, that stretch you, that make you feel like you can't go any further, those are the moments that are creating your growth. You're not losing, you're transforming. You're learning endurance, patience, strength, and resilience. The pain you feel today is building a foundation for the strength you'll need tomorrow. Discomfort is the gym for your soul. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome is a workout that builds your mental and emotional muscles. The more you push through, the stronger you get. But just like in the gym, if you only lift what's easy, you'll never build real strength. If you always avoid the heavy weights, your growth will stop. You gotta be willing to lift the hard stuff, the early mornings, the failures, the disappointments, the lonely nights. Those are the weights of life, and they make you powerful if you don't quit. Growth is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to make you question yourself. It's supposed to hurt a little. Because it's in that discomfort that you discover what you're truly capable of. You find out how much you can endure, how far you can go, how strong your spirit really is. The more you face discomfort, the more you realize that it's not there to stop you. It's there to show you who you are. Every storm you go through teaches you something about your capacity to survive. Every challenge reveals another layer of strength you didn't know existed. The people who stay the same year after year are the ones who avoid discomfort. They avoid anything that challenges them. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that don't grow them, and routines that keep them stagnant because it's easier that way. But ease doesn't build greatness. Effort does. You have to be willing to walk into rooms where you feel unqualified, take on challenges that scare you, and make sacrifices that hurt. That's how you grow. Every time you choose discomfort, you're choosing progress. Every time you step out of what's familiar, you're stepping closer to your potential. Comfort zones breed mediocrity. When you choose comfort, you're choosing to stay the same. You're choosing safety over progress, ease over effort, and familiarity over growth. The truth is, nothing great has ever come from comfort. Nobody has ever achieved their dream, changed their life, or impacted the world by staying where it was easy. The comfort zone might feel warm and safe, but it's the place where potential goes to die. It's the place where dreams are forgotten and opportunities are ignored. The people who achieve greatness understand that you can't stay comfortable and grow at the same time. You have to be willing to step into the unknown, to do the things that scare you, to put yourself in situations that challenge your limits and test your discipline. Comfort zones are dangerous because they trick you into believing you're doing fine when you're actually stuck. You get used to your routine, your habits, your little world, and before you know it, years have passed, and you're no closer to your goals than you were before. You tell yourself you're okay because nothing's going wrong, but nothing's going right either. You're surviving, not living. You settle for average because average is easy. That's what comfort does. It convinces you that you don't need to push harder, that you don't need to aim higher. It numbs your hunger and replaces it with satisfaction that's not real. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, they all had to step out of their comfort zone. They had to risk failure, embarrassment, and pain to get to where they are. They didn't grow because it was easy. They grew because it was hard. They put themselves in uncomfortable positions over and over again until discomfort became normal. They learned to live where others were afraid to go. That's the difference between greatness and mediocrity. Most people stop when it gets uncomfortable. The great ones keep going. The comfort zone feels good because it's predictable. You know what's coming next. There are no surprises, no risks. But there's also no excitement, no challenge, no progress. It's a slow death disguised as peace. You might not notice it at first, but the longer you stay comfortable, the more you lose your edge, your drive fades, your goals seem too far away. You stop dreaming big because big dreams demand big risks, and comfort doesn't allow that. The longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave because your mind becomes addicted to ease. You start fearing failure more than mediocrity. You start protecting your comfort instead of your purpose. Mediocrity is not just about being average. It's about being okay with average. It's about convincing yourself that you're doing enough when you're capable of so much more. It's when you stop demanding more from yourself because you're afraid of what it might take to get in it. That's what comfort does. It weakens your ambition. It makes you choose the short-term feeling of ease over the long-term reward of success. You can't have both. You either choose comfort or growth. You either choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Growth doesn't happen when everything is going right. It happens when you're uncomfortable, uncertain, and still moving forward. It happens when you're out of breath but refuse to quit. When you're tired but keep showing up. When you're afraid but still take that leap. That's where growth lives, outside the comfort zone. Every time you push past what feels safe, you expand your capacity. You build resilience, courage, and confidence. You start realizing that discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's something to embrace because it means you're growing. People often say they want to change their life, but when it comes time to do what's uncomfortable, they pull back. They want the reward without the risk, the success without the sacrifice. It doesn't work like that. The life you want lives on the other side of what makes you uncomfortable. If you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone, you'll never experience the fullness of your potential. Every great story begins with someone leaving what's familiar behind. You can't write a new chapter if you're afraid to close the old one. Your comfort zone will whisper lies to you. It will tell you you're fine where you are. It will tell you that trying something new is too risky. That failing would be embarrassing, that you should just stay where it's safe. But deep down, you know that's not true. You know there's more in you. There's more in you. You know you're capable more than what you're currently doing. You feel that pull inside, the one that says you were made for something greater. But greatness requires you to step out. It requires courage. It requires faith. It requires doing things that make you uncomfortable until they don't anymore. Pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. The problem is that most people never get to experience true growth because they quit when pain shows up. The moment it starts to hurt, they stop pushing. They think the pain means they're failing, but in reality, it means they're changing. Growth has a cost, and that cost is discomfort, sacrifice, and struggle. You can't evolve without going through pain because pain is the signal that something inside you is being stretched, transformed, and rebuilt. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the tool life uses to shape you into the person you were meant to become. Every great person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has had to go through pain. Pain of rejection, pain of failure, pain of loss, pain of loneliness. But they didn't run from it, they learned from it. They understood that pain doesn't last forever, but the lessons it brings do. The workout hurts, but the strength you gain stays. The heartbreak crushes you, but the wisdom you gain shapes you. The failure sting, but the resilience you build carries you for life. Pain passes, but growth remains. That's the difference between those who rise and those who give up. The ones who rise know how to keep going when it hurts. You can't avoid pain. It's a part of life, a part of progress. The only choice you have is whether that pain will break you or build you. If you run from pain, it will chase you forever. If you face it, it will free you. Pain reveals your character. It shows you what you're made of. You don't really know your strength until it's tested. You don't know how deep your determination runs until everything in you screams to quit and you still move forward. That's where growth lives, in the moments when pain and purpose collide. You might not see the reward right away, but every ounce of pain is creating something in you. It's carving strength, patience, and endurance into your soul. Pain has a purpose. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to develop you. The struggle you're going through today is preparing you for the opportunities you've been asking for. Sometimes you're praying for growth, for success, for strength, but you don't realize that pain is the answer to that prayer. Because you can't grow strong without resistance. You can't build faith without challenges. You can't develop wisdom without mistakes. Pain is the process that brings progress. But most people want the progress without the process. They want the growth without the grind. They want the success without the struggle. Life doesn't work like that. The people who achieve the most are the ones who learn to use pain as fuel. They take what hurts and turn it into motivation. They take every setback as a setup for a comeback. They don't waste time complaining about the pain. They channel it. They let the pain remind them why they started. They let it sharpen their focus and deepen their drive. Every champion has a story filled with pain. But what separates them is how they responded to it. They didn't let it define them. They let it refine them. When you're in pain, it's easy to think you're alone, but you're not. Every successful person has been where you are, on their knees, questioning if it's worth it, wondering if they should give up. But they kept going. Not because it was easy, but because they knew that pain is temporary. It doesn't last forever. Eventually, the storm passes, and when it does, you come out stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's next. You see, life is a series of seasons. Some are filled with sunshine and others with rain. But even the rain has a purpose. It nourishes the soil so new life can grow. Your pain is doing the same thing. It's watering the seeds of your future. The problem is that most people stop in the middle of the pain. They quit before they reach the other side. They give up when it's hardest, not realizing that's the moment they're closest to the breakthrough. The pain you're feeling right now is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. You've got to keep moving, even when it hurts. You've got to trust that the process is working even when you can't see it. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's built through consistency, persistence, and patience. And the more you push through pain, the more unstoppable you become. Pain also humbles you. It reminds you that you're human, that you're still learning, still growing. It keeps you grounded and grateful. Without pain, success would make you arrogant. Without failure, victory would feel empty. Pain teaches you appreciation. It teaches you empathy. It gives you a heart that understands struggle. And that kind of heart can change lives. You start seeing that pain wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. It was preparation. Every tear, every disappointment, every heartbreak, it was building a version of you that's wiser, stronger, and more capable than before. Discipline over ease. That's the rule that separates the great from the average. Most people want success, but they don't want the discipline it takes to earn it. They want the reward without the routine, the progress without the process, the victory without the grind. But life doesn't work that way. Success doesn't come to those who wait for it. It comes to those who work for it day in and day out, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the excitement is worn off. It's choosing what's right over what's easy. And that choice, that daily decision to stay committed, is what builds greatness. Ease is tempting because it gives you comfort without effort. It tells you that you can take shortcuts, that you can rest before you've earned it, that you can delay the work and still somehow reach the goal. But ease is a liar. It gives you short-term pleasure and long-term pain. Discipline, on the other hand, gives you short-term struggle and long-term reward. The things that are easy rarely make you better. The things that are hard always do. That's why discipline is everything. It's the foundation of growth, the fuel of consistency, and the bridge between dreams and reality. Without it, nothing you want will last. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up when it's hard, when you're tired, when no one is watching. It's the ability to keep moving forward even when your motivation fades. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark is gone. You don't need to feel inspired every day. You just need to be disciplined enough to act regardless of how you feel. That's where success is built, in the quiet, unglamorous moments when no one else is putting in the work. Think about the people who achieve greatness. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all have one thing in common: relentless discipline. They practice when others are sleeping. They study when others are distracted. They sacrifice what's easy so they can have what's exceptional. It's not talent that separates them, it's discipline. Because talent can get you started, but only discipline keeps you going. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline is what turns potential into power. It's what transforms good intentions into real results. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove to yourself that you're someone who can be trusted. You build confidence not by talking about your goals, but by doing the work required to reach them. When you wake up early to train, when you study instead of scrolling, when you stay focused instead of distracted, you're sending a message to yourself that you are in control. That feeling of self-control, that quiet pride that comes from knowing you're doing the right thing is far more satisfying than any temporary comfort ease could give you. The problem is that most people wait until they feel ready. They wait until it's convenient, until they're in the mood, until life feels perfect. But the truth is, discipline doesn't wait for perfect condition. It acts in spite of imperfection. There will never be a perfect time to start, never a perfect moment to commit. Never a perfect day to chase your dream. You have to move anyway. You have to show up anyway. That's what discipline is. Doing it not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Ease is seductive. It whispers, you can do it later. It tells you to take one day off, to relax, to skip the workout, to sleep in. But one day becomes two become a week. And before you know it, your momentum is gone. That's how people lose their edge. Not by making one bad decision, but by making a series of small, easy ones. Discipline is the opposite. It's doing what's right even when it's inconvenient. It's saying no to temptation, no to distractions, no to excuses. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your willpower. You build mental toughness, the kind that can't be broken by failure or fear. Discipline isn't just about hard work, it's about alignment. It's about making your actions match your goals. You say you want to be successful. Then your habits have to reflect that. You say you want to grow. Then your choices have to prove it. You can't speak greatness and live laziness. You can't expect progress while clinging to comfort. Discipline is the proof that you're serious about your dreams. It's the evidence that you mean what you say. Without it, your words are just noise. There will be days when discipline feels like punishment. You'll question why you're pushing so hard when others are relaxing. You'll wonder if it's worth it. But those are the moments that define you. Because ease never builds strength, struggle does. Every time you push through resistance, you become stronger. Every time you say no to comfort, you move closer to your purpose. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Too many people let fear control their lives, keeping them trapped in the same place, living the same routine, dreaming the same dreams, but never chasing them. They see fear as a wall they can't get past, when in reality, it's a sign pointing toward growth. Fear shows up when you're stepping into something new, something unfamiliar, something bigger than where you are right now. It's not there to tell you to stop. It's there to remind you that you're alive, that you're moving, that you're on the edge of change. Every great thing you want is on the other side of fear, but you'll never see it if you keep turning around every time it shows up. Fear isn't proof that you're weak. It's proof that you're human. It's natural to feel afraid when you're facing uncertainty, risk, or potential failure. But fear isn't supposed to paralyze you. It's supposed to prepare you. It sharpens your awareness, heightens your focus, and pushes you to perform at your best when you need it most. The problem is most people let fear dictate their actions instead of using it as fuel. They let fear talk them out of opportunities, relationships, dreams, and experiences that could have changed their lives. They let the voice of fear drown out the voice of purpose. When fear shows up, it's often because you're moving in the right direction. Growth always comes with fear. The moment you step outside your comfort zone, your brain starts warning you that you're in unfamiliar territory. It's trying to protect you, not realizing that this is exactly where you need to be. The fear you feel before a big decision, before a major change, before chasing something you love. That's not a sign to retreat. It's a sign to push forward. Because that fear is proof that you're stepping into something that matters. You don't feel fear when you're playing small. You only feel fear when you're stretching yourself beyond what you've done before. Fear and faith are two sides of the same coin. Both require you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. Fear believes in the worst outcome. Faith believes in the best. The energy is the same. It's the direction that changes everything. If you can believe that something bad might happen, you can also believe that something great might happen. You get to choose which one to feed. Most people feed their fear with doubt, negativity, and excuses until it grows too strong to fight. But when you feed your faith with courage, with vision, with action, you take that same energy and turn it into power. Every time you face fear and move forward anyway, it loses its power over you. The first time you do something scary, your heart races, your mind overthinks, and you question everything. But the more you face it, the smaller it becomes. What used to terrify you becomes normal. What used to seem impossible becomes part of your story. Fear fades when you act, but it grows when you avoid it. Every time you back away from something you know you should do, fear gets stronger. Every time you face it, you get stronger. Fear has fooled people into living half lives. They stay in jobs they hate because they're scared to start over. They stay quiet when they should speak up because they're scared of judgment. They hold back their gifts because they're scared of failing. But failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Because fear of failure stops you before you even start. The truth is you're going to fail sometime. You're going to make mistakes, get embarrassed, and fall short. But every failure is feedback. It's how you learn, how you grow, how you get better. Fear tries to protect you from pain, but it also protects you from progress. Courage doesn't mean you don't feel fear. Courage means you feel it and move anyway. You acknowledge the fear, you look it in the eye, and you walk forward in spite of it. That's real strength. That's where power lies. The people who achieve greatness aren't fearless, they're brave. They take action while fear is whispering in their ear. They use fear as a compass. If something scares them, they know it's probably something worth doing. They understand that fear doesn't mean stop. It means go carefully, go consciously, but go. Fear will always exist because life will always have uncertainty. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. You can let fear freeze you, or you can let it focus you. You can let it stop your movement, or you can let it sharpen your purpose. It's the same fear that makes some people quit, makes others unstoppable. It's all about interpretation. The moment you change how you see fear, you change how you live. Instead of seeing fear as danger, see it as direction. Let it guide you to the places you need to grow. When fear comes, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the vision, the dream, the purpose that set your soul on fire. Because purpose is always greater than fear.